It is absolute chaos in the world of sister wives right now, and the Brown family is imploding in ways that nobody, and I mean nobody, could have predicted. Christine Brown is allegedly planning a divorce party to celebrate Janelle's spiritual release from Kody. And folks, this is not just a casual get-together with cake and balloons. Sources close to the family describe it as a full-blown liberation celebration, a middle finger to everything Kody Brown has represented for decades. The woman who walked away first is now reportedly helping her sister wife burn the whole thing down, and honestly, I am here for every single second of it. Let us be brutally honest here. The Brown family has been teetering on the edge of complete disintegration for years, but this moment feels different. This feels final. Janelle Brown, the wife who stuck around longer than anyone expected, the one who tried to make peace and keep some semblance of family unity alive, has reportedly made the decision to formally sever her spiritual ties to Kody. And Christine, never one to miss an opportunity to twist the knife, is allegedly throwing her a party to mark the occasion. One insider put it bluntly: Christine wants Janelle to feel what she felt when she left. That freedom, that release, that moment when you realize you wasted decades on a man who never deserved you. The timing of all this could not be more explosive. The sister wives' cameras have been rolling, capturing what sources describe as the most dramatic footage in the show's entire history. Producers are reportedly scrambling to keep up with the developments, because nobody anticipated this level of scorched earth behavior from women who spent years smiling through their pain on national television. Those familiar with the situation say the production team is in shock. They have seen fights, they have seen drama, but they have never seen anything like this coordinated takedown. And let us talk about Kody for a moment, shall we? The man who once commanded a household of 4 wives and 18 children is now reportedly down to Robin and whatever shreds of dignity he has left. Sources claim he is absolutely livid about the divorce party plans, viewing it as a deliberate humiliation designed to make him look like the villain. Allow me to translate that for you. He is furious that the women he controlled for decades are finally controlling the narrative, and there is not a single thing he can do about it. But the party planning is just the tip of the iceberg, and what insiders are revealing about the deeper rift tearing this family apart is even more devastating than anyone imagined. Christine Brown has never been subtle about her feelings toward Kody since their separation, but sources say the divorce party planning has taken her anti-Kody campaign to an entirely new level. Those close to the former sister wife describe her as completely unleashed, no longer bound by any obligation to protect the Brown family image or spare Kody's feelings. She reportedly views Janelle's spiritual release as the final nail in the coffin of everything Kody tried to build, and she wants to celebrate that death with champagne, decorations, and every woman Kody ever wronged. The party is allegedly being planned for a date that holds significant meaning, though sources are keeping the specifics under wraps. What we do know is that Christine has been reaching out to former Brown family associates, including people who worked with the family during the early Las Vegas years. One source familiar with the guest list described it as a reunion of everyone Kody has alienated. That includes former friends, business partners, and yes, family members who have chosen sides in this increasingly bitter divorce saga. Let that sink in for a moment. Christine is not just throwing a party. She is assembling an army. Insiders reveal that the theme of the celebration centers around liberation and new beginnings, with decorations reportedly featuring imagery of broken chains and butterflies. If that sounds like something out of a made-for-television movie, well, remember that these women have spent over a decade living their lives in front of cameras. They know exactly how to create a moment. Sources say Christine has been consulting with event planners who specialize in divorce parties, a niche industry that has exploded in recent years as more women choose to celebrate the end of toxic marriages rather than mourn them. The sarcasm practically writes itself here. Kody Brown, the man who spent years lecturing his wives about loyalty, unity, and the sacred bonds of plural marriage, is about to watch 2 of his former wives throw a party celebrating their escape from him. The irony is absolutely staggering. For years, he positioned himself as the patriarch, the spiritual head of the household, the man whose decisions were divinely inspired. Now he gets to sit in Robin's living room and watch his former family rejoice in their freedom from his leadership. Reports suggest that Christine has been documenting the party planning process, potentially for inclusion in the upcoming season of Sister Wives. Producers are reportedly thrilled with the content, viewing it as exactly the kind of dramatic payoff that keeps viewers coming back season after season. One source close to production said the network is fully behind Christine's celebration. They see it as a powerful statement about women reclaiming their lives, and frankly, it makes for incredible television. But while Christine plans the celebration, questions are swirling about what Janelle's spiritual release actually means, and the answer reveals just how deeply strange and complicated plural marriage really is. For those unfamiliar with the concept of spiritual release in fundamentalist Mormon culture, let me explain what Janelle is actually seeking. Unlike a legal divorce, which simply dissolves a civil contract, a spiritual release is supposed to sever the eternal bond that plural marriage creates. In the belief system Kody and his wives practiced, marriage is not just for this life, but for eternity. A spiritual release is essentially asking to be unbound from your husband in the afterlife as well. And folks, the fact that Janelle is pursuing this tells you everything you need to know about how completely done she is with Kody Brown. Sources close to Janelle reveal that she began seriously considering the spiritual release after watching Christine's transformation over the past 2 years. One insider put it this way: Janelle saw Christine become a completely different person after leaving Kody. Happier, healthier, more alive. She wanted that for herself, and she realized the only way to truly get it was to sever every tie, including the spiritual ones. The decision reportedly did not come easily. Despite everything, Janelle spent 30 years building a life with Kody, raising 6 children within the plural marriage structure, and genuinely believing in the religious principles that govern their family. The process of obtaining a spiritual release is not straightforward, primarily because the Brown family left the mainstream fundamentalist Mormon church years ago. They are not affiliated with any organized religious body that could formally grant such a release. This means Janelle's spiritual release is largely symbolic, a personal declaration of independence rather than an official religious decree. But insiders say that symbolism matters enormously to her. According to those familiar with her thinking, Janelle needs to close this chapter completely. She needs to know that when she moves on, she is not dragging any of Kody's baggage into her next life. Let us be brutally honest about what this represents. Janelle Brown was widely considered the most practical, level-headed wife in the family. She was the one who worked outside the home, who managed finances, who approached plural marriage with a business-like pragmatism that sometimes frustrated viewers expecting more emotional drama. For her to pursue something as spiritually significant as an eternal release tells you that Kody's behavior has pushed even the most tolerant woman past her breaking point. Reports suggest that Mary Brown, the only wife besides Robin still technically connected to Kody, has been watching these developments closely. Sources claim she is deeply conflicted, caught between her own complicated feelings about the family and her long-standing friendships with Christine and Janelle. One insider described Mary as frozen with indecision. She sees her sister wives finding freedom and happiness, but something keeps holding her back from taking that final step herself. But the spiritual release drama is just one piece of this exploding puzzle, and what sources are revealing about the children's reactions is causing even more turmoil within the Brown family. The Brown children, all 18 of them, are reportedly choosing sides in this escalating family war, and the results are devastating for Kody. Sources close to the family reveal that the overwhelming majority of the kids have aligned themselves with their mothers rather than their father, a development that has left Kody feeling increasingly isolated and bitter. One insider described the situation as a complete rejection. Kody thought his children would eventually come around and see things his way. Instead, they have watched him prioritize Robin and her kids for years, and they are done pretending that was acceptable. Christine's children in particular have been vocal in their support of both her divorce party plans and Janelle's spiritual release. Patton Brown, never one to hold back on social media, has reportedly been encouraging his mother's celebration planning behind the scenes. Sources say he views the party as long overdue justice for everything his mother endured during her marriage to Kody. Gwendolyn Brown, who has been openly critical of her father on multiple platforms, is allegedly planning to attend and has been offering suggestions for making the event as memorable as possible. Janelle's children are reportedly equally enthusiastic about supporting their mother through this transition. Garrison, Madison, Hunter, and the rest have allegedly made clear that they stand with Janelle completely. One source familiar with the family dynamic said Janelle's kids have been waiting for this moment. They saw how unhappy she was, especially after the pandemic, when Kody's favoritism toward Robin became impossible to ignore. They are relieved she is finally putting herself first. The situation with Robin's children and the children she shares with Kody is more complicated and notably quieter. Sources indicate that those kids have largely stayed out of the public family drama, though insiders suggest there is significant tension behind closed doors. According to those familiar with the household, Robin's children are aware that their siblings from the other mothers resent them. They did not ask for Kody's favoritism, but they have benefited from it, and that has created an almost impossible dynamic to navigate. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a family that once promoted itself as a model of plural marriage done right, a family that literally titled their book Becoming Sister Wives and spent years on television arguing that their lifestyle could work beautifully. Now, the children from that supposedly functional family have fractured along maternal lines, with most of them allied against their own father. The failure is not just marital, it is generational. Kody has managed to damage his relationships not only with his wives, but with the majority of his own children. Reports suggest that several of the adult Brown children are planning to attend Christine's divorce party, turning it into something of a family reunion for the anti-Kody faction. And what sources are revealing about the location and scale of this celebration is absolutely jaw-dropping. Christine is reportedly pulling out all the stops for this celebration, and sources describe the planning as nothing short of extravagant. According to insiders, the divorce party will not be some casual backyard gathering, but rather a full-scale event at a rented venue. Those familiar with the plans say Christine has budgeted somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000 for the celebration, an amount that has raised eyebrows even among her supporters. But sources close to Christine say she views this as an investment in closure. She told friends that she spent decades living small because Kody controlled the money. Now she gets to celebrate big. The venue selection process has reportedly been its own drama. Sources say Christine initially wanted to hold the party in Las Vegas, the city where the Brown family spent their happiest years before Kody's controversial decision to move everyone to Flagstaff. However, logistics made that location impractical, and insiders reveal the event will now take place somewhere in Utah, potentially near where Christine currently resides. One source described the venue as absolutely gorgeous, with mountain views and enough space for all the guests Christine wants to invite. And speaking of guests, the invitation list has allegedly become a point of contention within the family. Sources claim Christine wants to invite everyone who has ever been wronged by Kody, a list that keeps growing as more people come forward with their grievances. According to those familiar with the situation, the guest count has already exceeded 50 people, and Christine keeps adding names. She is treating this like a wedding reception for freedom. One insider revealed, except instead of celebrating the beginning of a marriage, everyone is celebrating the end of multiple marriages. The catering alone is reportedly costing several $1,000s, with Christine allegedly ordering from multiple restaurants to ensure there are options for everyone. Sources say she has specifically requested that no food Kody particularly enjoys be served at the event, a petty but understandable decision given the circumstances. The cake is allegedly going to feature a custom design that references both Christine's and Janelle's escapes from plural marriage, though sources are keeping the specific imagery under wraps for now. Allow me to translate all of this into plain English. Christine Brown is throwing the divorce party to end all divorce parties, and she is making absolutely certain that Kody knows exactly how much she and Janelle are celebrating their liberation from him. The scale of this event is not just about marking a life transition. It is about making a statement. It is about proving that the women Kody dismissed, controlled, and emotionally abandoned have not just survived but thrived. But the extravagant party plans have created unexpected tension in surprising places. And what sources are revealing about Mary's complicated position in all of this drama is utterly heartbreaking. Mary Brown finds herself in an impossible situation, and sources say she is struggling mightily with how to respond to Christine's divorce party invitation. According to those close to the situation, Mary has been invited to attend but has not yet given a definitive answer. Her hesitation has reportedly caused friction with both Christine and Janelle, who view her fence-sitting as a betrayal of the sister-wife solidarity they once shared. One insider put it bluntly, Mary wants to have it both ways. She wants to stay connected to Kody and Robin while also maintaining her friendships with Christine and Janelle. Everyone is running out of patience with her inability to choose. The tragedy of Mary's position is that she has arguably suffered the most under Kody's treatment. Her catfish scandal years ago led to a complete breakdown in her marriage, and Kody has made no secret of the fact that their relationship exists in name only. They have not been romantically involved in years. He has publicly stated that he does not consider himself married to her in any meaningful way. And yet Mary remains, clinging to a connection that sources say brings her nothing but pain. Those familiar with Mary's thinking say she genuinely does not know what she wants. On one hand, she sees Christine and Janelle finding happiness and freedom, and part of her desperately wants that for herself. On the other hand, she has spent nearly 4 decades defining herself through her relationship to Kody and the Brown family. Leaving would mean admitting that she wasted most of her adult life on a man who stopped loving her years ago. According to one insider, Mary knows the truth, but knowing and accepting are two different things. Christine has reportedly tried to convince Mary to join them at the divorce party, framing it as a safe space where Mary could finally begin processing her own complicated feelings. Sources say Christine told Mary that she would not have to make any decisions or announcements. She could simply come, celebrate Janelle's release, and be surrounded by people who understand what she has been through. But Mary apparently remains hesitant, worried about how Kody and Robin would react if she attended an event so explicitly designed to humiliate them. Let that sink in for a moment. Mary Brown is more concerned about the feelings of a man who has repeatedly stated he does not love her than she is about supporting the women who stood beside her through the hardest decades of her life. The psychological hold Kody has on Mary is genuinely disturbing to witness, even from a distance. Sources say her children and friends have begged her to break free, but something keeps her tethered to a marriage that exists only on paper. But Mary's indecision is just one complicating factor in this explosive situation, and what sources are revealing about Robin's response to the party news is sending shockwaves through the entire family. Robin Brown is reportedly furious about the divorce party plans, and sources say she has been pressuring Kody to take some kind of action to stop the celebration from happening. According to those familiar with the situation, Robin views the party as a calculated attack on her family unit, a deliberate attempt to embarrass and humiliate both her and Kody in front of the entire extended Brown family network. One insider described Robin's reaction as completely unhinged. She cannot stand that Christine and Janelle are happy without Kody. It completely undermines the narrative she has built in her own mind. Those close to Robin say she has always believed that she is the only wife who truly understood Kody, the only one who appreciated him properly, the only one willing to submit to his leadership in the way their religion supposedly demanded. The success of Christine and Janelle post-Kody threatens that entire belief system. If they can thrive without him, what does that say about Robin's choice to stay? Sources suggest this cognitive dissonance is causing significant stress in the Robin household. Kody, for his part, is reportedly alternating between rage and self-pity over the party plans. Insiders say he cannot decide whether to be angry at his former wives for their disloyalty or sad that his family has fallen apart so completely. According to one source close to the situation, Kody keeps asking what he did to deserve this. And honestly, at this point, the lack of self-awareness is almost impressive. The man spent years on camera favoring one wife over the others, dismissing his children's concerns, and treating his marriages like business arrangements that could be renegotiated at his convenience. The fact that he genuinely seems confused about why everyone left tells you everything you need to know about his capacity for self-reflection. Reports suggest that Robin has been urging Kody to make some kind of public statement about the party, potentially on social media or through a tabloid interview. She allegedly wants him to get ahead of the narrative and position himself as the victim of vindictive ex-wives rather than the architect of his own family's destruction. So far, sources say Kody has resisted, perhaps recognizing that any public statement would only draw more attention to an already embarrassing situation. The irony of Robin's position is absolutely delicious. For years, she was accused by Sister Wives viewers of working to isolate Kody from his other wives and children. Whether those accusations were fair or not, the result is that she now has exactly what many suspected she always wanted: Kody all to herself. But sources say the reality of that victory is far less satisfying than Robin imagined. According to insiders, she is discovering that having Kody's undivided attention means also having his undivided frustration, anxiety, and bitterness. But the Robin drama is just one subplot in this increasingly chaotic story, and what sources are revealing about the production team's plans to capture the divorce party on camera raises the stakes even higher. TLC producers are reportedly desperate to film Christine's divorce party, and sources say negotiations over camera access have been intense. According to those familiar with the discussions, the network views the celebration as potentially the biggest moment in Sister Wives history, a climactic event that could define the show's entire legacy. One production insider described it as the ending the series has been building toward for 14 seasons. Everything that has happened over the years, all the fights and tears and broken promises, leads to this moment of the women taking back their power. Christine is allegedly receptive to allowing cameras at the event, though sources say she has conditions. According to insiders, she wants complete control over how the footage is edited and presented, a demand that has caused some tension with producers accustomed to having final say over the show's narrative. Christine reportedly told the production team that she will not allow them to spin this as anything other than a celebration. She has seen too many moments twisted in editing over the years and is determined that this time her story will be told her way. Janelle's position on filming is reportedly more complicated. Sources say she is genuinely torn between wanting to share this meaningful moment with viewers who have have followed her journey and feeling that some things should remain private. According to those close to Janelle, she has always been the most camera-shy of the wives, tolerating the filming rather than embracing it the way Christine has. The idea of having such an emotionally significant event broadcast to millions makes her uncomfortable, even as she recognizes the impact it could have. The question of whether other family members would agree to appear on camera at the party adds another layer of complexity. Sources say several of the adult children have expressed willingness to be filmed, viewing it as an opportunity to publicly stand with their mothers. However, others prefer to keep their participation private, concerned about the inevitable social media backlash and tabloid coverage that would follow. One insider described the negotiations as a puzzle with too many pieces. Getting everyone on the same page seems almost impossible. Let us be brutally honest about what is happening here. TLC has built its entire Sister Wives brand on the promise of authentic family drama, and this divorce party represents the most dramatic possible payoff to that promise. The network has every incentive to capture this moment, and Christine has every incentive to let them, knowing that the footage will cement her legacy as the wife who refused to stay silent. Whether the party ends up on television or not, the mere discussion of filming it demonstrates how far this family has come from those early seasons when they claimed to be modeling a beautiful alternative family structure. But the television negotiations are just one consideration in this increasingly complex situation, and what sources are revealing about the date and timing of the celebration has everyone talking. The date Christine has allegedly chosen for the divorce party is loaded with significance, and sources say the selection was absolutely intentional. According to those familiar with the planning, the celebration is being scheduled to coincide with an anniversary that holds deep meaning within the Brown family, though insiders are being careful not to reveal the exact date before an official announcement. What we do know is that Christine has done her research, selecting a moment when the symbolism will be impossible for anyone, especially Kody, to miss. Those close to Christine say she spent weeks consulting a calendar of important Brown family dates before making her final decision. According to one source, she considered multiple options, including the anniversary of her wedding to Kody, the anniversary of her legal separation, and several other meaningful moments from the family's history. The date she ultimately chose reportedly connects to all three wives who have left or are leaving Kody, making the symbolism about more than just her own journey. The timing also appears designed to maximize media attention while the Sister Wives season is airing. Sources say Christine is well aware that scheduling the party during the show's broadcast window will generate significantly more coverage than holding it during the off-season. One insider described her strategy as brilliant, if ruthless. She knows exactly how to play the media game at this point, and she is using every tool available to make sure this moment gets the attention it deserves. Janelle has reportedly expressed some discomfort with the strategic timing, preferring a more private celebration focused on personal healing rather than public spectacle. Sources say the two women have had several conversations about balancing their different needs, with Christine ultimately convincing Janelle that the public nature of the event serves an important purpose. According to one insider close to both women, Christine told Janelle that going public helps other women in similar situations see that escape is possible. She framed it as almost a service, and Janelle eventually came around to that perspective. Let that sink in for a moment. These women, who spent decades living according to Kody's schedule and Kody's preferences and Kody's vision for their family, are now meticulously planning an event designed to publicly mark their liberation from his control. The power dynamic has completely inverted. Where once Kody decided when and how family celebrations would occur, now Christine and Janelle are making those decisions without any input from him whatsoever. But the date selection drama is just one element of this unfolding story, and what sources are revealing about the emotional speeches being planned for the party will have viewers reaching for tissues. Multiple sources confirm that Christine and Janelle are both planning to deliver speeches at the divorce party, and insiders describe the content as devastatingly honest. According to those familiar with the preparations, both women have been working on their remarks for weeks, refining their words to capture the full weight of their journeys from plural marriage believers to liberated women starting new chapters. One source who has seen early drafts described the speeches as the most raw and real these women have ever been. Christine's speech reportedly focuses heavily on the moment she realized her marriage was beyond saving and the courage it took to walk away after 25 years. Sources say she plans to name specific incidents that pushed her toward the exit, including moments that have never been discussed publicly before. According to one insider, Christine wants other women watching to understand that they are not alone in their experiences. She is going to share things that will make people's jaws drop, but she believes the truth needs to be told. Janelle's planned remarks are described as more introspective, focusing on her evolving understanding of what she deserves in a relationship. Sources say she intends to address the years she spent making excuses for Kody's behavior, the mental gymnastics required to convince herself that plural marriage was working when clearly it was not. One insider close to Janelle said her speech includes an apology to herself for staying too long. It is heartbreaking and empowering at the same time. Anyone who has ever been in a difficult relationship will recognize themselves in her words. The speeches are reportedly going to be filmed regardless of whether TLC cameras are present at the party. Sources say Christine has arranged for professional videographers to capture the event, ensuring that every moment is preserved for posterity. According to insiders, she views this documentation as essential, both for her own memory and as a record that can be shared with the extended Brown family and eventually the public. Reports suggest that several guests have also been invited to share their own reflections on the Brown family journey, though the specific speakers have not been confirmed. Sources indicate that at least one of the adult children is expected to address the gathering, offering the perspective of someone who grew up within the plural marriage system and now sees it with adult eyes. But the planned speeches are just one element of what promises to be an emotional evening, and what sources are revealing about how Christine and Janelle plan to mark Janelle's spiritual release during the party is unlike anything fans have ever witnessed. The spiritual release ceremony planned for the divorce party represents something truly unprecedented in public discussions of fundamentalist Mormon culture, and sources say Christine and Janelle have put enormous thought into making the moment meaningful. According to those familiar with the plans, the ceremony will not follow any traditional religious script, but will instead be a deeply personal ritual designed by the women themselves. One insider described it as them taking back control of their own spirituality after decades of having men tell them what to believe. Christine has reportedly spent weeks researching alternative spiritual practices that resonate with both women's current beliefs. Sources say the ceremony will include elements of multiple traditions woven together to create something new and empowering. According to one insider close to the planning, there will be candles, symbolic objects representing things Janelle is releasing, and spoken declarations of independence. It sounds new age to some people, but for Janelle it is deeply meaningful. The release ceremony is allegedly scheduled for the emotional peak of the evening after the speeches, but before the celebration shifts into pure party mode. Sources say Christine wanted to create a clear structure to the event, moving from acknowledgement of the past through a transformative ritual and then into celebration of the future. According to those familiar with her vision, Christine sees the party as almost a three-act play, with the spiritual release serving as the climactic moment of transformation. Janelle has reportedly been emotional during the planning discussions, sometimes overwhelmed by the magnitude of what she is about to do. Sources close to her say the spiritual release represents the last tie she needs to sever, the final step in a journey that began years ago when she first started questioning whether plural marriage was actually serving her. According to one insider, Janelle has moments of absolute clarity about this decision, followed by moments of grief for the life and beliefs she is leaving behind. It is complicated, and Christine has been incredibly supportive. Let us be brutally honest here. What these women are doing is remarkable. They are taking a religious framework that was used to control them for decades and reclaiming it on their own terms. The spiritual release ceremony is not about asking permission from any man or institution. It is about two women deciding that they have the authority to define their own spiritual paths. The symbolism of that, especially given how patriarchal their previous religious beliefs were, cannot be overstated. But the ceremony plans are just one piece of this extraordinary story, and what sources are revealing about the aftermath of the party and its implications for the Brown family's future is absolutely stunning. Sources close to the Brown family say the divorce party represents not just a celebration, but a turning point that will permanently reshape every relationship within this complicated family structure. According to insiders, Christine and Janelle view the event as drawing a clear line between past and future, a moment after which there is no going back. One source put it simply, once this party happens, the Brown family as it existed for 30 years is officially dead. Something new might eventually emerge from the ashes, but it will look nothing like what came before. The implications for Kody are particularly devastating. Sources say he is finally beginning to grasp that his former wives are not coming back, that no amount of sweet talking or manipulation will restore what he has lost. According to those close to the situation, Kody has cycled through denial, anger, and bargaining over the past year, but the party announcement has pushed him into something approaching acceptance. One insider described his current state as defeated. He still gets angry, but there is a resignation underneath it now. He knows he has lost. For Robyn, sources say the divorce party represents her worst fears realized. According to insiders, she always believed that eventually the other wives would see the error of their ways and come crawling back, begging for Kody's forgiveness and re-entry into the family. The celebration eliminates that possibility entirely. One source close to Robyn said she simply does not understand how Christine and Janelle can be happy without Kody. It does not compute for her, and watching them celebrate their freedom is forcing her to question everything she believes about marriage and family. The adult children, meanwhile, are reportedly viewing the divorce party as an opportunity for their own healing. Sources say many of them have felt caught between their parents for years, unable to fully express their frustrations with Kody without feeling disloyal. The party gives them permission to openly side with their mothers, to publicly acknowledge what many have privately believed for years. According to one insider, the kids are excited to finally stop pretending. They have been walking on eggshells around Kody for too long. Reports suggest that the party may also mark the beginning of new traditions for the fractured Brown family. Sources say Christine and Janelle are discussing annual gatherings that bring together the anti-Kody faction for continued celebration and support. One insider described their vision as a chosen family, built on genuine love and respect rather than religious obligation. The irony is palpable. The plural marriage system was supposed to create an extended family of love and support. Instead, that family only emerged once the marriage dissolved. As the Brown family heads toward this unprecedented moment, one thing is absolutely clear. The sister wives era is ending, but the stories of these remarkable women are just beginning. Christine and Janelle have found strength in each other that their shared husband never provided, and their divorce party celebrates not just the end of their marriages, but the beginning of lives truly their own. For fans who have followed this family for nearly 15 years, watching these women reclaim their narratives is both satisfying and bittersweet. The fairy tale of functional plural marriage was always an illusion, but what has emerged from its collapse might be something even more beautiful. Real women supporting each other through real pain toward real healing. Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you will not believe what is coming next.